Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be discussing the full moon in Capricorn on July the 21st, 2024. This full moon is forming a perfect cradle configuration within 1 degree, so it's very strong. What is a cradle configuration in astrology? Well, you'll have the full moon is when the sun is opposite the moon, and the moon is forming a trine or a very favorable release to Mars, and the sun is forming a trine, a positive release to Neptune. So the full moon is triggering this dynamic power struggles with all this ease and reconciliation. This could be very favorable for major negotiations, from peace talks around the world to negotiating business contracts. Now, the moon is, of the full moon, the moon is conjuncting Pluto. So that full moon on Pluto is certainly going to wake up a lot of power struggles and manipulation. But because of the cradle configuration, it brings in so much more favorable energies. It can be revealing a lot of secrets. Now, when the Capricorn full moon, which is bringing everything to light, revealing what's been hidden, and the moon is within 1 degree of conjuncting Pluto. Pluto, the lord of the underworld, the shadow, what's hidden and secretive. So a lot is going to be exposed. Personally, if this full moon at the last degree of Capricorn, if it impacts your horoscope, but it's definitely impacting the world. So when the moon is conjuncting obsessive, powerful Pluto, but in flow, trining, ambitious, assertive, courageous Mars, it signifies a period of profound emotional intensity. That's the moon Pluto, and transformative power of the Pluto. This lunar alignment brings deep-seated feelings, that's the sun in Cancer, to the surface, to revealed, encouraging a release of old patterns and empowering decisive, passionate action. So this is a powerful, dynamic energy on a very basic individual level. You'll have the energy behind you to break any bad habits, to get out of any stuck routine. The sun, now on the opposite side of that full moon, where the moon Pluto is trining the best flow of energy to Mars, the sun on the opposite side is forming a trine, the best flow of energy to Neptune, dreamy, altruistic, spiritual Neptune. So when the sun trines Neptune with this powerful full moon, it adds a layer of spiritual insight and creative vision, making it an ideal time to blend practical ambitions with a touch of idealism and intuition. Together, these aspects of this cradle configuration creates a powerful mix of determination, that's the Pluto, deep emotional clarity, that's the sun with Neptune, and inspired imagination, perfect for making significant strides in both personal and professional realms. Now, with all of that said, so there's these powerful agents for positive change, getting out of ruts, but with the trines from both sides of the full moon, because the full moon by itself could bring in all this conflict, all this polarization. But the true trines, which is this really favorable release, can certainly help us all navigate with more ease and more resourcefulness and more determination, how to work through with patience all this internal conflict. So it's a great, unique blend of tension and gives resilience and adaptability, encouraging us to find cooperations and harmony among life's complexities. This full moon chart will be unfolding and grabbing our attention to the next lunation, which is in 2 weeks, with a new moon. But among this powerful full moon chart, communication, conversation, decision-making Mercury will be exactly squaring this internal push to rebellious, liberating Uranus. And Venus. Now, Venus can rule love and cooperation. Venus can represent finance. And it's a sextile in harmony with Jupiter. So before I go more deeper into this extraordinary opportunity for advancements and shaking out the old, bringing in the new, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find direct links to book an astrology reading or checking out my 2-question offer. Now, let's go step by step. The full moon is at the last degree of Capricorn, so which is 29 degrees. If you have a planet within a couple of degrees of 29 Capricorn, or the next degree, 0 degrees of Pluto, because that moon Pluto is hovering around 29 to Capricorn, 0 Aquarius, or the exact opposite, because the sun's at 29 Cancer. So if you have any planets, or your ascendant, your midheaven, close to one of those degrees, this energy is going to really grab you and help you release a lot of old patterns. But there's a lot of this negotiations going on, but a lot of determination and resilience to keep pushing forwards. Now, with all of that said, decision-making, discerning Mercury is exactly squaring Uranus. That Mercury-Uranus can bring in these unexpected insights, being more open to new ideas, more original thinking. So that's going to also help many of you with these intense in negotiations to think out of the box, coming up with a lot of original new perspective. Venus is that planet of desire, love, cooperation, creativity. It's also a planet that we look to also for finances. And that Venus is almost exactly 12 degrees of Leo, and expansive protective Jupiter will be at 12 degrees of Gemini, forming a lovely sextile. That's 60 degrees. Sextile means positive opportunities, but you got to grab the opportunity and work with it. And with this cradle, there's all this dynamic energy to push forwards, but with a lot of positive release with the trines. So that Venus to Jupiter can be very favorable for this cooperation and harmony, trying to find some kind of middle harmonious blend Venus, Jupiter would be good for making money. But this could also be really favorable for traveling. That's Jupiter. And Venus being a lot of pleasurable energies. So really being able to, go on a vacation, go traveling, or just staying at home and attending, a concert, the theater, even a movie, if it really inspires you and puts you in a really good mood. In the world, there's so much divisiveness, polarization, and so many, with the wars going on, and all this political divisiveness around the world. That's the full moon hitting Pluto, bringing up a lot of obsessiveness and revealing a lot of darkness or secrets. But then having the full moon with Pluto trining almost perfectly Mars. Mars gives the courage to fight and persevere. And on the opposite side, that Sun in Cancer, which is the last degree of Cancer, trining Neptune, which is the last degree of Pisces. So that Sun Neptune brings all this inspiration, all this this creativity, this idealism. So if this chart grabs your individual horoscope, whatever you've been struggling with, there's more of an opportunity to really start pushing through and releasing the old patterns by thinking out of the box. But there's so much negotiations going on. One example, while I'm doing this reading, Great Britain has a new prime minister, which is a big change from what I understand from the conservative movement of 14 years to the Labour, which is more, I guess, more liberal from my understanding. And Iran, just a few days ago, as I'm doing this, has elected a reformist. So moving away from that hardcore conservative, strict energies to hopefully opening up, being a little bit more progressive. And then today, as I'm doing this reading, France, that was like the other day, was supposed to be going more right with its leanings. Much more of this conservativeness is now pulled ahead and going towards the left, being more progressive. So there's this big movement. The reason I'm bringing it up is the shifting energies in many ways are polar opposite of what's been going on. That can describe the full moon, where the moon is polar opposite the sun. So for these new ruling parties to have any kind of effect, there's going to be a lot of power struggles. But to the Mars, there's going to be that ambition and drive to push through. And the trine to Neptune brings more of this inspiration, idealism, more of a creative vision. So for the world, when it comes to negotiating, diplomacies, trying to get more of a flow of the new governments on board with each other, yes, it's going to take a lot of perseverance. That's the Sun Pluto trining Mars, but with hope, with inspiration, with the Sun Neptune. So for the world, something's beginning to shift. So it's just a full moon, but it's planting seeds of a shift. And part of that shift is transformational Pluto has been in Capricorn that began 2008, once every 243 years or so. And last year, through the end of this year, it's moving into Aquarius, leaving Capricorn, which is tradition, conservatism, and the old guard. That's all that profound transformational Pluto had been in Capricorn when the United States signed the Declaration of Independence. So now we're leaving Capricorn for the second time since the beginning of the country, of the US, going into Aquarius. In basic terms, Pluto is power, and Aquarius represents the people. So instead of it being the conservative, old guard, more fascist, if you will, more autocratic, if you will, it's wanting to shift slowly. But for the next 20 years, transformational Pluto is moving into Aquarius. Aquarius represents the people, personal freedoms, democracy. And now Pluto is the power of the people. It also indicates there's a major transformational shift going from the rigid old traditions to more personal freedoms. It's going to be a lot of back and forth because a lot of people do not want to let go of the power they've had in the past. And that's why this cycle of Pluto could take 20 years. But this is a dynamic shift that seeds are being planted, and we're seeing lots of clues of where all this is going. With this full moon, July the 21st, for the next 2 weeks. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or checking out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.go. That's .co. Until next time, be safe and well.